Bruh, he has literally told you who he is and how he can do all the neat shit he does. Just accept it and stop trying to look for some kind of deeper hidden answer. Ooh. Who grabs a gun right after leaving the shower? What the fuck? That's why I would worry about clothes first before grabbing the gun. Her towel just fell off when she realized that Lucifer broke into her home. Well, is he gonna tell her she should lock her back patio now? He is making a grilled cheese though, so kudos for him. He broke into her house, made her breakfast, and then commented on how long she was taking in the shower. Oh my goodness! Harry Potter and the audacity of this bitch! I love it! If I was Dan in this situation, I would assume that heaven was a metaphor for Chloe's vagina. Lucifer just busted into his therapist's office unannounced to complain about how he got thrown out of a woman's house, while the therapist was having an appointment with a guy named George. He doesn't look anything like our George, though, so that's disappointing. George of the bunghole, watch out for his tree! Oh, this is the episode where some gay guy hits on Lucifer at a pickup artist event. Dan, your daughter is 7 years old. If she's getting involved with pickup artists, I think you've got a whole nother set of problems, my good bitch. One thing I really like about this show is that Lucifer looks to be in his late 30s or early 40s, and most of the women cast are in their 40s and 50s. Like, Maze's actress, I think, is in her mid to late 30s. Chloe and Ella's actresses are basically pushing 40 by the end of the show, and the therapist who is the first person to be confirmed to be sleeping with Lucifer, she's in her 50s, which makes it surprising when she, spoiler alert, has a baby later on. But yeah, I really like that they're not just going with the I like that they're not just going with the oh, this immortal dude is super interested in teenage girls. The women he's involved with are actually grown women. And so they'd have to be 21 or older to get into his club, but he's not going for the younger, the 20s, girls. He's going for the women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. So I thought that was kind of neat. Although, at first I thought that created a plot hole with Sebastian, but then I remembered he is in his 30s. He's just on the lower end. So he's a few years younger than Chloe. Yeah. I can't keep track of my own canon. Hi, Lucius! And Lucius is sitting on the little cushion that used to be in his playpen, but it is not as of this morning, because it is outside of the playpen, and he's sitting on it, and he's being a cute little noob. Linda's advice to Lucifer to demystify Chloe by bringing her down to his level rather than putting her on a pedestal is excellent advice. I feel like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend should have gone with that, because you remember Trent's debut episode where Rebecca says, "Oh no, I knew a million guys like him in college. He's into..." Loki! I didn't make you one.
Oh, I thought you did.
So she says, "I knew a million guys like him in college. She's into all this now, and then he'll see me eat a piece of ham off the ground and move on." But she never lets him get that close. And I feel like if our thing where he was surveilling her constantly was canon, and he actually, she had actually let him get close enough to her to get put off by her, quite frankly, selfish and bitchy behavior 24/7, I mean, there's a chance he wouldn't have moved on, because he's just that tolerant and loved her just that much, but there's also a chance that he would have, and I think that would have been a better play than constantly pushing him away, because it's human nature to want what you can't have, right? So, the fact that she kept pushing him away, and the fact that he had very little self-respect, pretty much just made him go, okay, well, now I want you more, and I'm going to break up your wedding and try and steal you away on the rebound, hey, and, he, like, kept pursuing her, but, like, if she had just, you know, done what Robert Pattinson did with that one fan. There was this fan who was pestering Robert Pattinson, and so he went on a date with her and spent the entire time being as unpleasant as possible, and she left him alone after that. Like, that would have been a much better play. I think I mentioned this before. Did I mention this to you, or did I mention this to somebody else when I was spouting off about all this? But anyway. Lucifer takes that to mean I need to have sex with her. Which, again, could have worked in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, because, like, when Rebecca was, like, holed up with Greg for a week and a half, she specifically said, "You've been tearing me up for a week and a half. I don't mean like in my heart. I mean physically, you've been tearing me up. It's D-Day in my lady parts." Like, if she and Trent had just spent a week and a half holed up together, she probably would have fallen in love with him just from the fact that they were banging constantly. Seriously, the show writers, like, really dropped the ball. No, they banged, like, at least twice that we know of in one night. But then, like, and she compliments him on his skill. Lucifer's like, oh, that's the best way to lose interest, isn't it? Yeah, that's what Nathaniel thought, too. Didn't work out that way, did it? You know, you could make more headway by giving her head. Way. That fell flat. Like, it sounded better in my head. She tells Lucifer that she'll sleep with him when hell freezes over, and he says, I can arrange that, actually. Like, I think you should take her there and prove it. I think she should go to hell. I think she's a bitch. Those decorative women standing out in the foyer look so uncomfortable and awkward. They're just like, it's like the director said, okay, girls, look natural. And they're like, this is natural, right? I don't even think my hair's natural. Oh my god, my boobs aren't even natural. What does natural mean? We're in LA.
Yeah, they're a bunch of robot cyborgs. Lovely ladies milling around out there. Which one do you desire? You. I'm gay. Oh, right. Well, my dance card's full with this one, I'm afraid, but the odds are definitely in your favour out there. Probably not betting for the same team. You never know.
Out of all the men in that pickup artist party, the one that the security guard desired was Lucifer. You know what? That makes sense. Lucifer is probably the best looking one there because pickup artists as a breed are not very attractive, and they certainly don't exude the magnetism that Lucifer has in canon, so. Meaning the show canon, not biblical canon. Although, if you take into account the temptation angle, which I think is what they were working with in the show. You know what? I'm getting too thinky with all this. Lucius, what are you doing? Lucius, please don't choke yourself with that straw. So, I just said regarding the player event, you were never dropped as a baby because you were never held. And then Loki started laughing. He said, that's fucked up. And if he was going to make a character for this running fanfic on Discord, the one I invited you to, Yamato, he'd create a character who is just evil, because that sounds like a villainous backstory. Just a character who is just evil and mean to everybody, because at his character sheet would just say he was not dropped as a baby because he was never held. It's a action horror thing that takes place in outer space. Although, contrary to what I'd originally thought, It is fairly character driven. Like, a lot of it is just people herping and derping around, and I just bugger off whenever there's any action scenes because I'm no good at action scenes. I don't want to roll the dice. I just want to sit in the captain's lap and flirt with people and generally and be gay and generally just be a fuckboy. And that's my characterization. The brooding guy that just, he has his lost love that he had to leave back home, who didn't get drafted because he was institutionalized, so they weren't drafted together. And I'm sure you saw on Sebastian's page the roleplay from last night. Oh hey, Amenadiel also refers to May as his little demon. But they haven't even played Blurred Lines on the show yet, Chloe. And what's wrong with breaking into your house and trying to sleep with you? It's what all the cool kids are doing.
Oh, Nick did. Oh. Just speaking of my surprise visit yesterday, I decided turnabout's fair play, tit for tat sort of thing.
This is beyond inappropriate.
And brave, wouldn't you say? Number 3 on the CKC list. All right. But seriously, darling, are you well? The berries are ripe and ready to be harvested. I mean, look at it. Huh?
Pulling a gun at Lucifer's bar at Lucifer's party is a really dumb idea. Simp. I don't think lions and fluffy bunnies are compatible sexually. Loki says many furries would disagree with me. You're a wolf furry, what do you think? Bunnies, yes, no. Wait, he says he can't offer anything obvious as proof. And she's like, well, so no horns. But he has his devil face. Why doesn't he just flash his devil face at her like he did with that priest? Loki says it's because he actually likes her and doesn't want to scare her away. But I mean, that would be proof.
Right, that would also...
And
he's thinking in the lines that she's still a normal person, not what she actually is.
okay, whatever. Yeah, so... the douchey guy is like, oh yeah, I deserve to die. And Lucifer is just like, no, you just deserve some of the minor, easily curable STIs, not death. You're fine.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Sorry?
Please don't hurt me.
Why does everyone say that before they're punished?
Don't kill me.
Lucifer!
Don't move.
Detective, you should leave.
Who are you? What are you?
Bitch, he's done been telling you for the past 4 episodes. I love how her kid's response is, you shot someone? Again? She fucking kneecapped him. That is not a graze. If you shot Lucifer, it must mean you really like him. I love kid logic. The fun's just begun.